We have a slew of entertainment news tonight.
Oh, yeah.
And so let's start our slew.
We thrive in this category.
Oh, pop culture, pop culture, Mormon theme related. That is where we reign supreme.
This is where our worlds intersect.
Mornings are better with a warm beverage, even for Latter-day Saints. Meet Postum, the ideal coffee alternative and proud sponsor of This Week in Mormons podcast. Spotted on the coffee aisle at Smith's Grocery or at your local nearby store. Can't locate it? No worries. Order it at postum.com. Explore delicious recipes to tailor your Postum experience. Start your day off right with Postum.
Hello, welcome to This Week in Mormons, the Twin Sisters edition with sisters Ariane Smith
and Tiffany Hales.
We're here for November.
Yay!
And right before Thanksgiving.
I know.
I love Thanksgiving.
I love Thanksgiving week. It is seriously like probably my most favorite week of the year.
I think me too. It's like the calm before the storm.
Exactly.
There's none of the pressure of Christmas. It's just cozy.
It's a short work week for me. Seriously, when I go home on Wednesday, like when the day is done at work, I'm like, wow, I have the next 4 days off. You and I always do Thanksgiving together. We split the meal. And then after it's over with Thanksgiving Eve, I usually start pulling all my fall decorations down because Friday I get to get all my Christmas out.
So fun.
I just generally stay at home during the weekend for the 4 days and just make my house all cozy and nice. It's so fun.
So fun. So fun.
Anyway, what else has been going on in your life?
The usual.
How's momming treating you these days?
Momming has been next level hard this whole fall.
It really has for you.
I have a senior, I have a freshman. The emotions, it is a roller coaster.
Plus your two little kids.
The little kids are getting ignored. It's all about the high schoolers. And it's just been extra rough this fall because my husband's been traveling a lot. Almost every other week it feels like he's been traveling. And so this week he and my oldest daughter were sick the week before this week. And I said, this is what's going to happen because this is the biggest week of the year for my small business. There's a big event that I have every year. And it was this week. So I've just been prepping.
You've been burning the midnight oil.
And so when they got sick about a week ago, I was like, this is what's going to happen. He's going to leave town and I'm going to get sick. And it's going to be the week of my big event. And I'm going to be single parenting sick and prepping. And it happened.
Well, I can tell tonight your voice is it's not as clear as it usually is. It's a little scratchy.
It hasn't been as awful. It didn't knock me out like it knocked them out. But still, I'm like, come on.
I knew you were able to get everything done for your boutique. So,
yep. So it all worked out. It's fine.
But still a lot.
Yeah, it's been a lot. It's been a busy fall.
Okay. Well, I'm hoping, the holidays are going to be crazy. The holidays are always crazy. But I'm hoping for you in the new year that maybe your winter leading into spring, or at least until May when it's graduation season, since you have a senior, will be a little bit calmer for you.
I hope so. But we do have to get through dance competition season.
It's very true.
Which kicks off in January.
All right. Let's lower our expectations. Yes. Let's just set the expectations as the same level of crazy that has been going on in the fall will continue probably at least for the rest of the school year.
I know. It's funny. We just joke that between my senior daughter, my freshman daughter, and me, at any one given point in time, one of us is crying.
Someone's in tears.
It could be for any number of assorted random reasons. But just don't be surprised if one of us is crying.
Well, I'm so sorry. Although I do have to say I have been there. I have done that.
Yes,
it's brutal.
I know you have.
It's brutal. I know. I keep telling you. It gets better. It gets better. I know you still have a few more years left, but I am hoping that your younger kids don't have as tumultuous of hormones in teenage years as your older two did.
I am banking on that fact because I'm getting old and tired. So, anyways, what's new with you?
Okay. This is not a new calling. It is an assignment.
Oh.
I've been given an assignment.
Oh, don't you love it when they pull out an assignment?
Yes. So,
because you can have as many assignments as possible.
I know.
Humanly possible.
I I know. So let's talk about this assignment. So last Friday, my husband gets a text from a member of the High Council, and he says, can I meet with you and your wife after your meetings on Sunday? So my husband says yes, and then he's like, "What have you been saying about the steak on the podcast? Are we going to get in trouble?"
Oh, he's thinking you're getting in trouble.
He's thinking I'm getting in trouble. I'm like, honey, a high counselor isn't going to chew me out. That's going to be.
They're going to call in the bigwigs.
They're going to call in the bigwigs. And by the way, I have not said anything. So anyway, so I tell him, I said, here's what I think this is. So I can't remember if I talked about this when we recorded. Gosh, when we recorded in October, I would not have done this activity yet. So we did this activity. So let me tell you about this activity that we did. So our stake, rather than doing these regional stake dances, decided to pull their support and their funding out of these regional stake dances.
Oh, they don't do the stake dances?
No, they don't do the stake dances. I think they thought like they weren't getting their bang for their buck, or the kids weren't interested.
That's a smart move, because I don't think kids are going to stake dances anymore. I cannot get my girls to go.
Yeah, I don't think so. Anyway, so what they do to replace the stake dances is 3 to 4 times a year, they do these big activities on Saturday night for the kids. And the kids come, they're welcome to bring their friends, and it just kind of replaces the stake dance, and it gives them an opportunity to socialize. So their fall activity was held at our old stake center, and they did kind of a carnival atmosphere sort of a thing. They had, every ward was in charge of like one food item. So they had like corn on the cob, and they had nachos, and they had lemonade, and they had root beer floats. And so they had all of these food things. And then they had games and music and a bonfire, and the kids just loved it. So they called us up, a friend of mine who was in charge of these activities for the last year. And she said, Tiffany, would you and your husband do scones for this activity? And I said, sure, because we'd actually just purchased ourselves this lovely little transportable outdoor fryer thingy that was really cool. Because
you're talking about Pioneer scones.
I'm talking about, yes, I'm talking about like Indian fry bread. When you say scones in the Mormon Belt, everybody interprets it to be that. You say it outside the Mormon Belt, and they're thinking something you dip in your tea.
I found that out of college when I went to work in California. Like we were getting scones for a thing, and I was like, "This is a scone." It was a British scone.
Exactly.
I love a British scone.
Exactly. Anyways. Well, what was so funny is when they called me up and they asked me to do this, they're like, yeah, all you have to do is just get some Rhodes dough and just let it thaw and fry up the Rhodes dough. And I was like, oh, honey. No. Tiffany does not do Rhodes dough. I am way too much of a carbohydrate snob for Rhodes dough.
This is why you're getting assignments. So let me guess, you did amazing. You made homemade dough.
I made homemade dough.
Everybody loved it.
Okay.
And now you got yourself an assignment.
Yes. But you have to understand where I got the homemade dough from. I called up our mom's college roommate, Marcia, because they do scones every Halloween on their front porch. And I said, Marcia, I'm going to need your recipe. And so she sent me the recipe. I sent her pictures, and she was like, oh, Tiffany, you took this to a whole new level. You totally leveled up.
Oh, that's so fun.
So we did scones. And here's the other funny thing. They're like, oh, yeah, scones for like $150. And I was like, honey, how long you been feeding kids? No. $150 is just, we had scones for $3.40.
And did you go through them all?
We came home with about 100 scones. So we went through about 250 scones.
Okay.
But, so yes, if I did it again, I would definitely do less. But we did not run out of food.
Right.
Kids had multiple scones.
Better to have more than to run out.
Better to have more than run out, especially because, when you make your own dough, it's totally inexpensive.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I told my husband, I said, I bet we end up on the committee for next year.
Oh, boy.
Sure enough,
you did too good of a job.
Exactly what happened. But here is the good news. We are not in charge of the committee. We are not the chiefs. We are only the Indians. And I'm like, oh, sign me up. Let me be the little worker bee. I don't want to have to be doing all of the decision making or anything like that. But the really cool thing that they're doing is they're putting a bunch of youth on this committee, and they're asking the kids. They're going to have the kids say what they want to do.
Right.
And then we will execute what the kids want to do. So it'll be 3 activities next year. Granted, they will be really big activities, require some, significant logistics and coordination, but my husband and I are good at logistics, so
that'll be fun.
And hopefully
they're not overnight. It's just
they're not overnight.
A few hours on a Saturday,
and hopefully they just put us all in charge of the food, because we're really good when it comes to food. Yeah. So that is okay. Our 2025
assignment.
So I'm going to be picking your daughter's brain and finding out what kind of activities she would like to do.
Yeah, you should.
Every teenager I know, I'm like, what activities would you like to do?
She's on the youth council for our stake. So just ask her what they're doing. And
okay.
See what's working and what's not.
I will do that so I can have some ideas when I come to the table. So. Yeah. All right. Well, before we get into our news stories tonight, first of all, we have to thank our sponsor, Postum, because Postum has been our 2024 TWIM sponsor. And so I made us a Postum concoction tonight for us to drink. This is a new one. So let me tell you what I did. All summer long, we've been using the chocolate Postum, and we have been adding things into it and making it icy and yummy. Well, it is definitely beyond icy and yummy season, and we are into warm beverage season. So this is what I did. I used the regular Postum, not the chocolate. I put in a packet of stevia. I put in some vanilla creamer, and then I added a little cinnamon, a little nutmeg, a little cloves, and just a scant drop of orange oil. So I'm hoping this is kind of a holiday-ish type of beverage.
It smells like Christmas.
It does smell like Christmas. So let's taste it and see if it passes Hallmark Movie Channel muster.
Okay, it's good.
Oh, it really is.
I really like it, and I do not like
you were suspect tonight when I was putting this together.
I was nervous because I am not a hot apple cider person. I am not like this. I don't know, but this is better than hot. This is better than cider. The orange versus the apple.
Exactly. Oh, this is, and you remember when I was in California and we were in California and recorded, I did a cold one with orange and I put way too much orange extract and it had a really bitter flavor. I brought my eyedropper tonight and I just dropped just like a little bit in, but holy cow, that actually is really good. I would totally make that.
Very good. Look at you. Postum should hire you to make recipes.
They really should. They should hire me just to create stuff because I have to say I am surprised at how delicious this is. I didn't think it would be as good as it is, but it's terrific. Okay.
All right.
Well, should we do some news stories?
Should we move on to news stories of the week?
Yes. Okay. The big thing this week, and I teased it on TWIM Facebook page, is the giving machines have launched.
The giving machines are in your face. They are everywhere.
They are everywhere this year.
Like they've put them in a lot more locations, and just the publicity around them is like I can't open any social media
without seeing it.
Now, granted, I am probably their target audience.
Exactly.
But they are promoting the heck out of these things.
They really are. So it's hard to believe this started in 2017. So we are talking 7 years old at this point in time.
Yeah.
6. Yeah.
We could do maths.
7 years old. So they were just in 3 locations when they first started. I think they were in New York and London and maybe somewhere else.
Salt Lake, probably.
Salt Lake. Anyway, they're up to 106 locations this year.
They're growing like temples.
They really are growing like temples. Anyway, we on TWIM have been big supporters of the giving machines. We've talked about them ad nauseum, and tonight we're going to talk about them ad nauseum some more. So they launched this week. There's an article that I put on the TWIM site that has all of the places that they're at. It also has all of the international charities that they're using. Whenever they go to a local, they try and partner with 3 to 5 local charities, but then you also have the option to donate to 2 international charities.
Which, can I just say how much I love that model?
Yes.
That they are partnering. Because we're getting one here, which we've talked about. Yes. We're so excited about.
And we're going to get to that in just a minute.
To see the local charities that they picked, it felt so personal and good to see like our direct community being impacted by like charities that we know and we're very familiar with
and money that's going to stay. And again, not that sending money overseas is bad, but this is money that will stay here in the community and help those local charities. And before the church partners with any of these charities, there is like a whole vetting process. And you better believe if you know how the church vets anything, that the vetting process probably involved multiple layers of paperwork.
Probably a little bit better than some of the vetting that's happening in DC right now. Sorry, I shouldn't go there. Go ahead.
Not going to touch that.
Carry on.
Anyway, so to kick off the international leg of the giving machines, they sent Elder Uchtdorf to none other than Hong Kong. And Hong Kong has 2 giving machines in their new town plaza at Shatton. So here's what's really interesting about Hong Kong. They have a 48-day campaign. So these machines are going to be around for 6 weeks. It will run through through January 1st, 2025, and they kicked it off mid-November. And so anyway, so that was really cool. But we need to talk about the Boise Giving Machines, because today was the kickoff day for the Boise Giving Machines. Now, if you remember last time you and I recorded, I was kind of beefing about the giving machines.
Right. But wait, hadn't you worked your way into it last time we recorded? Or had you not yet?
I don't know. I didn't think I had worked my way into it yet.
Maybe you hadn't worked your way into it yet. She was determined.
I was determined. So what I had done, and if I mentioned this last time, then please forgive me. So when I found out they were coming and they did the thing in our ward, it seemed like when somebody in our ward asked about volunteering,
they were like, "We got it.
We got it. Don't worry about it." And I was like, "Oh, okay, that's code for you don't want our help and you have some other plan." Mm-hmm. So then I started reaching out to all of my other friends saying, "Who has a slot? Who has a slot? Who has a slot?" And I had some backup plans, but I went in for a Temple Recommend interview. So did I don't know if I told you this.
You did tell me
So
this.
I went in for a Temple Recommend interview. Yes. At the end of the interview, the counselor says, "Well, Sister Tanner, is there anything else you'd like to discuss?" And I said, "Well, as a matter of fact, there is." I said, "I want to shift on one of those giving machines. I'm a big proponent of the giving machines. I want a volunteer shift." Mm-hmm. He was a bit taken back. He's like, "Well, you'll need to call Max and Sally Brown. They're in charge of that." He's like, "Do you know them?" And I'm like, "Yes, I know exactly who they are." So I promptly went home for my Temple Recommend interview. I texted Max. I'd never met his wife, Sally, before, but I had met Max before. I served on a committee with him. I texted Max and I said, "Max, this is Tiffany Tanner," because I have a different name at church than I have on the podcast. And I said, "I just finished with my Temple Recommend with President Holland, and told him I wanted a shift, and he told me to call you. So please let me know the date and time of my giving machine shift." Like, I didn't ask.
No window to turn you down.
No window to turn me down.
And it worked because you got us.
And it worked. So anyway, our day is Saturday, December 21st. Uh-huh. So he texts me back and he says, "Well, 7 p.m. that evening work?" And I was like, that would be perfect. And I don't know if they thought maybe they were giving me a bad shift, because it's really hard to get Temple coverage on a Saturday night. But I'm like, 7 p.m. the Saturday before Christmas at the Village Shopping Center? Oh, yeah, I'm going to be busy. So I have my shift. Uh-huh. So as part of my shift, I got to attend training on Sunday.
Okay, I want to hear about the training.
So I want to tell you a few things that I learned from the Giving Machine training. First of all, remember last year on the podcast, I was a bit salty that Boise did not have giving machines.
Yes.
And
we were like, why? Why would you not send one to Boise?
I think did they have them over in Idaho Falls at that time?
I don't think so.
I can't remember.
I don't think Idaho had any.
I don't think Idaho had any. Anyway, I was a bit salty. And then when I heard that they were coming to Idaho, I was like, well, somebody in Salt Lake clearly listened to my podcast and realized that, the twin sisters are onto a good idea. We should put them in Boise. Okay, I learned that might not exactly be how it happened.
It's not because they heard us?
It is not because they heard us.
Shocking.
I was crushed.
Okay, so did you figure out what decides it?
Yes.
Okay, I need to know this.
Well, I don't know precisely what decides it, but apparently we have like a regional media person. Okay. And so, or events person. I don't remember exactly what her title is, but I guess she's kind of a big deal.
Okay.
Anyway, so somebody from Salt Lake called her up last year on November 15th, 2023 and said, "Hey, we'd like to bring some giving machines to Boise." And she's like, "Sure, no problem. When are they going to arrive?" Because she was thinking it would be last year in 2023. Oh, okay. And they were like, "Oh, no, honey. No, this is for next year. You don't understand the coordination involved."
Okay.
So it was over a year ago that they actually picked Boise and started the coordination.
Wow.
So the other thing I learned, first of all, I keep calling them the giving machines. I need to change the way I say it, because you know how we have an official name of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
We're very careful with our names. Let me guess, because I have been bombarded with the social media.
Yes.
You can tell me if their message is getting through.
See if the messaging is getting through.
And I'll tell you how I visually have been reminded of this message. They are called Light the World Giving Machines. Am I right?
Yes.
Did I get it right?
That is the official name.
Okay, so because I keep seeing it on these red and white Where's Waldo scarves.
Yes.
On social media. And that's how I remember it, because it says light the world really big and then really tiny underneath giving machines.
Yes.
So.
That is the official name. And so I've got to break my habit of calling them the giving machines and calling them the light the world giving machines, because that is how we are as volunteers to refer to them.
Oh, really?
Okay.
That was part of the training. Huh?
That was part of the training.
Well, I'm not a volunteer, so I'm still called giving.
You can call them what you want. The other key takeaway from the training was, so when you get there, you get a lanyard that, says volunteer or whatever.
Do you get one of the scarves?
Okay, well, I'm coming to that. Okay, I'm coming to that.
I was clearly excited about the scarves.
Okay.
It was good branding.
It was good branding. So if I had a dime for every time in the training they said, don't take the lanyard. Like, apparently people must take the lanyards.
Oh.
Like, they must have told us no less than 15 times in the training, don't take the lanyard.
But the lanyard just basically says you're a volunteer.
Don't take the lanyard. You have to turn your lanyard in at the beginning of your shift.
It doesn't get you free parking or anything.
Does it? Free parking. But you can see from my notes in all caps, do not take the lanyards.
Do not take the lanyards.
They are very adamant that when your shift is done, you do not take the lanyards.
Okay.
Now, they will have 12 scarves that are available for the people who volunteer.
How come I'm not seeing do not take the scarves in big letters? Because that's what I want. I want the scarf.
I do not know. Apparently, they are less concerned about you taking the scarf, but they are very concerned about you taking the lanyard. Which brings me to the scarves, because there is an option that should you want to purchase your own swag to wear, you can purchase your own swag to wear.
They're selling the scarves?
They are selling the scarves. So, of course, I promptly went online after the training, and because I was going to order the scarf. And so I was like, well, let me see what they have. And so the steak doesn't know it yet, but my husband's going to join me because it's Saturday night and it's date night. So he's going to be like my emotional support team in there.
It's fine.
So I ordered for him a Light the World hoodie. Okay. And so it's red and it says Light the World Giving Machines.
Oh, they have all kinds of merch.
I know. I do not personally like a hoodie. I prefer a crew neck sweatshirt, but they have that as well. So I ordered for myself the crew neck sweatshirt.
The beanies?
I ordered a little beanie because December 21st is going to be pretty cold.
Yeah.
So I ordered a little beanie. I was going to order the scarf, but I was like, it's too Waldo for me. I couldn't do it.
It is very Where's Waldo.
Where's Waldo.
It really sticks out in the picture. So again, that's very good branding.
Well, and so I have these really cool kind of Christmassy pants that I think I'm going to wear with my Light the World sweatshirt. I will be looking quite festive when I do my shift.
I had no idea there was merch.
There was merch. There is merch of it. And the merch was actually really reasonably priced. The hoodie was only $20.
Oh.
And the crew neck sweatshirt was $14.
That is very good. As a parent of children in sports who are constantly being forced to buy hoodies and parental hoodie gear, that is a good price.
And I think my beanie was like $8, and I think the scarf was like $8.50. Very, very reasonably priced.
Okay.
So
good.
Anyway.
Good.
So I've got my swag. And so then we were giving training about, there will be lines and they will have cattle gates because nobody does a line better than the church or BYU.
Okay. So are they expecting constant lines?
They are. I don't know if they're expecting constant lines all the time, probably not during the day, but I'm guessing during the evening and things like that, there might be more lines.
We went to Giving Machine once, and it was last year in Tucson, or maybe 2 years ago in Tucson, in the mall, and there was no line. We walked right out.
Yes. So anyway, so they have a whole plan for lines. They have little laminated menu cards that they'll give you while you stand in line, so you can see what your options are. So when you can be fast, you can be fast. You can get up to the machine. I
like that. That's very efficient.
They also have an origami project that you can work on online. That you can fold this little piece of paper that they give you with instructions
while you're standing in line.
And it makes a heart-shaped Christmas ornament.
Oh, that's cute.
And the whole time while you're standing there waiting, there will be entertainment involved.
Okay. And this I did know because my daughter's on the high school dance team, and we just got notification this week that they're going to go dance at one of these.
Yes, and my daughter is in a high school choir, and the high school choir is going down on Monday.
That's fun for the kids.
Anyway.
And smart, it gets all their parents there who will then donate.
So as a volunteer, I ask people, would you like me to take your picture and take pictures if they want pictures? And then there are 14 training videos I have to watch.
14?
Now, supposedly the training videos are really short. Like training videos on like how to refill the machine, how to clean the machines, how to turn on the machines.
Oh, I didn't think about refilling them.
Oh,
that's right. They only hold a certain amount of
cards.
Exactly. So then you just take the cards out and put them back up, right?
Well, no. So the cards fall down. And so you grab all the cards out and put them in a bin. And then you have to organize them. And then you go like,
put them, but then you put them back.
Then you put them back.
Yeah, right. Because we're just reusing the cards.
Exactly. We're just reusing the cards.
Okay.
Anyway, so those are the highlights of my training. So today they officially kicked off in Boise. So guess what my husband and I did tonight?
Did you go?
We went down.
I did not know that you were there. Oh, wait, you didn't go to the kick because they had like a ceremony.
No, the kickoff,
you didn't go to the ceremony.
The kickoff was at noon today.
But you went tonight and saw them.
We went and saw them tonight.
Oh, were they busy?
They were not too busy.
Oh,
so
I'm surprised.
We walked right up to the vending machines. We were there about 7:30. We walked right up to the vending machines. Also, I posted all of the pictures on the TWIM Facebook page if you want to see.
Oh, I haven't even seen
We chose toddler supplies for the Women and Children's Alliance.
I love the Women and Children's Alliance.
I love
That's
the
a local. That's a local one here in Boise.
And they had entertainment. In fact, the lady who was singing was a lady who used to be in my ward. She's a fantastic singer, and she's really good at like energizing the crowd. And so people were dancing.
Okay, they have a whole stage set up.
So they have So
will that stage stay for the whole?
I'm pretty sure
the
stage will stay because the keyboard stays. Because that was one thing somebody asked in the training was, what type of a keyboard is there? Musicians want to know. So apparently the keyboard has been thoroughly vetted by musicians is what I was told in the training.
All right.
So anyway.
Well, I can tell you our dance team is not going to fit on that stage, but I'm sure they'll find another place.
Well, maybe they will perform like in front of the stage because Katie's choir isn't going to fit on that stage. But it's a very small, it's probably like, a 5x8 sort of stage.
Okay, so they just constantly have somebody doing entertainment.
When she was done,
they did not have that when I went to that giving machine in Tucson. There was no entertainment.
Well, when Michelle was done singing, a group of like 7th and 8th grade boys got on with their like saxophones and things like that.
I wonder if that depends on the location and like if the location allows for entertainment.
Well, was yours inside or outside?
Ours was inside a mall.
Oh, see, that would probably be why.
Yeah.
These giving machines in Idaho are all outside. And so that makes it, you can have all sorts of noise outside.
That's true.
You're not bothering anybody.
Yeah.
So anyway, all right. I think we have probably ad nauseum to the giving machines for tonight.
That is just so fun.
So next time when we record in December, it will be the night before I do the giving machines. So maybe I'll wear my swag.
You have to wear your gear.
I'll wear my gear. Yes. I'll wear my swag. So anybody watching on YouTube can see the gear and see the swag.
That's so fun.
I might be a little excited about this.
I know. It's very cool. It is very cool. And I was telling you before the videos.
Oh, yes. Our local produced media on these.
I started following like our local Instagram for their giving machine. The videos are such high quality. I was asking you, I was like, did Salt Lake come and produce these videos or we just got some super talented people here that are like the high production value and marketing on the videos that they've made?
They were fantastic. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, let's do some other stories. Okay. I think you've got the next one.
Next story. This was a story from the Tribune, and it was about Elder Holland. This story was so interesting because we got more of a peek into what's been going on with his health.
Yes.
We know that he's been very up and down the past few years, and he gave a talk in the Dominican Republic recently. He was down there. Weren't they dedicating a temple? What were they doing there? Maybe they weren't.
I don't know. I don't think they were dedicating a temple there.
But he wasn't there on his own. He was there with
Elder Razband.
Razband, yeah. Anyway, he was giving a talk to a huge arena, 7,000 members of the church in this arena, and he talked about what a miracle it was that he is still alive, and that he is a representation of a real life miracle, just like you see in the scriptures. And then he said that he was unconscious for a month and nearly died. And that is evidence of that miracle for him. I was like, what? Because none of us knew that it was that
critical,
touching go, like that he was literally unconscious for a month. So it said that, he's been struggling since COVID. Like he got COVID, and his recovery from COVID has been tough and lots of ups and downs. And then he had an episode in September of 2023. So a year ago, and it said that adrenaline-like drugs were being used to support his circulation. He was virtually non-responsive. That's what Elder Renlund said. And he said that
because Elder Renlund's a doctor,
right?
So he understands these medical
and
things.
He said that the physicians didn't know what was wrong, and that they had told his children that the prognosis was extremely poor.
Is it just fascinating to you that in this day and age, he's this critically ill, and the physicians are like, yeah, we have no idea what's causing this.
Wild.
That's like, so crazy to me.
Leftover COVID stuff.
It's not like we're living in the 1800s, folks.
Yeah, it is wild. And it's wild that like he was unconscious for a month.
Yes.
And then came back. Because I feel like they don't know what to do with you, right?
Yeah.
When it's that long. I don't know if very many people let it go that long.
Yeah.
So, and I don't know if there was even a decision to be made, or if they were just like, wait and see.
And the fact that, it doesn't appear, I'm sure he has some long-term effects from that. Mm-hmm. Just lying in bed for a month, your muscles would atrophy and you'd have to have physical therapy to get back. But seemingly his mind is still just as sharp. And so, when he says that is a modern day miracle akin to what we've seen in the New Testament and Old Testament, I don't think he's kidding about that.
Oh yeah, that would be definitely a miracle. So, anyway, he just talked very openly about it in his talk. And I love this. He said, it takes broken clouds to nourish the earth. It takes broken ground to grow grain. It takes broken grain to make bread. It takes broken bread to nourish and feed us. These are the cycles of life. We need to have faith through the difficult times as part of the plan. So I thought that was a cool quote from him. We're glad he's okay. Had no idea he was that close to death. Like
exactly.
Anyway, this was his first international trip since being sick. We know he was back at conference, and he's slowly been starting to do things again, but this was his first big trip, which is maybe why he went with Renlund.
I'm sure.
Together.
So, exactly.
Anyway, so that was very cool. Okay, another article from the Tribune. This was so fascinating.
Oh, this was really fascinating.
Really interesting.
I have thoughts.
Okay.
I'm sure you have thoughts too.
Yes.
Maybe our thoughts are the same.
So this is Peggy Fletcher Stack wrote this article, and there is a prominent, if you're familiar with LDS history, there is what is called the September 6th, and they were 6 historians, like church historians, researchers.
They were intellectuals.
They were intellectuals.
They were tagged as intellectuals and historians.
That like deep into church history, and they were all excommunicated in September of 1993 for various and assorted reasons with the historical things that now
they would probably,
the church is very open about in our history. They got excommunicated back then for kind of bringing them up and being like, hey, this happened in our history.
Yeah.
So
and the church at that time did not really want to acknowledge that stuff.
Yeah. So it was a different time. Different era. So this one member of the September 6th, her name is Lavina Fielding Anderson. She was finally rebaptized, but it was after she died. But the story of how this happened is so interesting.
It's fascinating.
So this woman, Lavina, she was obviously excommunicated in 1993. She never stopped going to church.
She faithfully went to church every Sunday.
Going to church every Sunday until COVID hit. And then they said after COVID, she had some health issues. But she went faithfully every week. She couldn't take the sacrament. Obviously, she couldn't pray and have callings, but she would just serve where she could. It said she would sing in the choir, and she would play. They would let her play organ and piano. But she was
she could do assignments. She could have callings.
She was a faithful non-member.
Yes.
Anyways, she passed away about a year ago, and so her son's name is.
Well, back up. She before she passed away.
Oh, right. We have to go there.
She had requested to be
rebaptized. She did request to be rebaptized at one point in time, and her stake leaders approved it. They said, "Yes, we think this should happen," and they sent it to Salt Lake because it had to get first presidency approval, which is always the case. I don't know how that works. Or if it was just her because she's more prominent, or does everybody have to get first presidency approval? I'm curious.
I have no idea.
I bet Kurt knows that question.
That's a Kurt question.
Yeah.
Let's put that on our list of questions to ask Kurt.
Yes.
I've got several right now that I haven't taken up with him yet.
Running list.
Yes.
Okay. So it went to Salt Lake and it was denied. So she was not given the opportunity to be rebaptized. And
then she passes away.
She passed away. A year after she passed away, her son, Christian Anderson, decided to start looking into getting her rebaptized in the temple, as you do.
Yes.
And you have to wait for a year till after your family member passes away to do this. So he got on Family Search to look her up and kind of start researching what he needed to do. And he tried to hold the record, as you do. Yes. You say, I want to do the work for this person. Yes. And the record was locked. And so he put an inquiry into Family Search saying, why is this record locked? This is my mom. I want to do her work, whatever. So it took them a little bit to get back to him. But they got back to him and said, oh, she's already been baptized. Her work has been done. And the timing is very interesting because October 29th is when he got on, which was almost exactly a year after. And by the time they got back to him, let's see, her baptism was on November 12th. And they got back to him November 19th.
They sent him an email that said, thank you for your inquiry. We've already taken care of this.
Yes. This has been done. And so it was done a few days before they sent him this letter saying it's been done. So I think he's having a better attitude about this than personally I would.
I think he's having a fantastic attitude about it.
In this article, it quotes him as saying he wanted to do it himself. It says he wanted to do it himself.
I get it.
But then he said, but I'm going to take the win because she'd been fighting for this her whole life. So he recognizes this as a win, although he really would have liked to do that himself.
Well, and it's just interesting. I mean, we can only speculate. We don't know why. Obviously the church was aware that he was interested in this and why they chose to send it to a temple and who they had do it. We have no idea. It's kind of interesting as to why they didn't kick it back and let him do it.
I know. I don't understand the reasoning. We probably never will. No. I'm sure we'll never get an explanation. And I don't know, were they trying to keep it quiet, not make it a big event? Were they worried that but it's still in the press now because now he's like, hey.
Yeah. So, by the way. Anyway, so the good news is Lavina got her wish.
Lavina got baptized.
Lavina.
That is good. So yeah. And he, like I said, he's having a much better attitude about it than personally I think I would.
Yeah. No, I commend him for taking the high ground and saying, yes, I'm sad that I couldn't do the work. But the important thing was the work got done, and that is what my mother wanted.
Oh, and also in the article, I thought it was interesting. One other of the September 6th has also been baptized previously.
Yes.
After he died, I believe.
No, there were two that had been baptized before they died, and then there's one other. D. Michael Quinn has died, and he remained faithful until the end and a believer. And so we don't know if I don't recall when he died. So I don't know if his work's been done yet or where they're at on that.
Yeah. I think his work has been done.
So
anyways, so two of the 6 have been rebaptized. It's really interesting.
Very. Mm-hmm. Okay, we have a slew of entertainment news tonight.
Oh yeah,
and so let's start our slew.
We thrive in this category.
Oh, pop culture, pop culture, Mormon theme related. That is where we reign supreme.
This is where our worlds intersect.
Exactly. Exactly. Y'all can have the heavy hitting analysis stuff. Just give us every pop culture story there is.
That's right.
We're shallow like that. We totally admit it.
It's true. Okay, so first story we have, this was from Glossy Online Magazine. Glossy. This story was called How Mormon Culture Became Mainstream and Why the Beauty Industry Wants a Piece of It. So this was just kind of another article. We've seen so many this past year about like what is the deal with Mormon culture and why
really has
and why is it everywhere on
TikTok?
Why is it everywhere? Anyway, the
and article, do you like us or are you making fun of us?
Right. Yes. This article by Emily Jensen. She started out talking about Crumble. And just how Crumble, started in Utah. People in Utah don't drink, they eat sweets, and just how it has now exploded.
And the founders never thought it would get outside of Utah.
They just thought
it was going to be a Utah thing.
This is a Utah thing. It's such a Mormon culture thing. Had no idea. And now there are 980 locations across the country, and people on TikTok are eating Crumble. Like Crumble it's just a thing. Everybody
Gen Z
knows
and Gen
about
Alpha love to go get their weekly Crumble fix and put it on TikTok and rate the cookies.
So again, they're just talking about how this is kind of one of the first Utah culture things that just went massively viral. Yes. And then from there, we get TikTokers.
And the other thing I didn't realize this article talked about, I don't know how I missed it this summer, Crumble did a collab with Kylie Jenner and her cosmetic company.
Oh, yes. Well, and I saw the one they did this summer with Olivia Rodrigo.
I didn't see that one either.
Purple Olivia Rodrigo cookie, because my girls love her. And they were like,
I didn't even know who she is.
So it's pretty sad. They're starting to do, like you said, collaborations with all kinds of big companies. Yeah. And then they're talking about how all this, like these big companies want a piece of this Mormon culture moment with these influencers. Kind of the same with, they hit on obviously the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. The show had 729 million viewing minutes in its first week.
That's mind-blowing. It was the top-rated reality show that Hulu had in 2024.
Right.
It's crazy.
Yeah. They talk about Ballerina Farm. They talk about just how, what's the other one that is married to the models? Oh, the one with the ridiculous
Lucky
Instagram.
Blue Smith is his name.
Yes, and her name is
Nara
Smith, with the ridiculous Instagram with making her peanut butter from scratch. They just talk about how people are now seeking them out. Like big brands are like, we want these to do like collabs with these people. Anyways, they talk about how, I don't know, they just interviewed some people like, why do you think this is the way it is? Yeah. And someone was saying, it's like the culture of the aspiration, like aspirational life. Like this is, maybe it's not real, but it's what we aspire to.
We see the beautiful people in the beautiful houses, and we all want to be the beautiful people in the beautiful houses. Then we compare ourselves, and then we feel crappy.
Right. And they were just talking about how
it's just a vicious circle.
Mormonism kind of thrives in that environment.
Very true.
And it's fascinating for people to see, and it's fun to watch, and it's just.
And I think it's especially magnified in the Mormon Belt.
Yeah,
I'm really curious. I need to have a discussion, like maybe with Laura Wolford, who lives. She's our Ohio girl that I've had on here a couple of times, and say, "Do you get any of this nonsense out there in Ohio, or is this just a Mormon Belt thing?"
Right. Yeah.
So. All right. Well, let's move on to the next one.
Because the next one is related.
The next one is related.
So we know the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives has gotten renewed for a second season. Yes,
they're going to do 20 episodes in season 2. I think they only had maybe 8 in season 1.
Yeah.
So they're going to have 20 episodes.
Less than 10, 8 or 10.
And I saw a thing today. They were down filming in Arizona. They had gone down to Arizona for something. One of the girls, Jen Affleck, was not there with them, and they're speculating that she is not on for the next season, or if she is, it's only for a couple new episodes because they had another new girl there with them.
Oh, because they were maybe going to move.
He was supposed to.
And her husband did not like her on that show.
I don't think her husband liked her on the show. Anyway,
her being on the show.
So yes, explain to us the big news in addition to the season 2.
This is the big news. We knew they were getting a season 2 that came out a month or so ago. The big news that came out just within the last week or two is that the premiere of season 2 is going to be on ABC.
No, it's not the premiere of season 2. Season 2 won't premiere for a while.
That's what I thought. But then when I read this article, it said, because I thought they were just re-showing season 1, but it said they're getting new episodes earlier in 2025.
But right here it says it's going to make its broadcast premiere
on January 27th after The Bachelor.
But I've read that it's not in this article. It's in another one. Oh. They're only showing the 8 episodes that they released on Hulu because they have not given a release date for season 2 yet.
Because this article, I swear somewhere in it, it says that they thought it would be later in season 2, but they're going to have them later in 2025, but they're going to have them early in 2025. Okay, you need to Google this.
I will Google this
while we discuss.
Okay.
Because I thought same thing. I thought they were going to re-show the Hulu on ABC, but then this article made it sound like they're going to have an early 2025 release sooner than they thought. I could be wrong.
Well, but I think they're showing it. So I think they're going to show the initial 8 episodes after the premiere of The Bachelor to widen the audience, if that's even possible.
I know. Anyway, this is an interesting partnership, I feel like, with The Bachelor and on ABC, because The Bachelor. Okay, I watched The Bachelor. Nobody's surprised. You all know I watch trash. I'm famous for that. But The Bachelor had so many promos for this show.
Really?
In its last season, every single commercial break had a promo for this Hulu show, The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. I was like, oh, they are really trying to get the Bachelor crowd.
Yes.
But I think it's very interesting because The Bachelor it's a pretty trashy reality show, but there's nothing, it's trashy in that they fight, but it's not trashy in that, like, they don't joke. I don't feel like they really joke about sex and stuff like that. And there is a little bit of that on The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. Like, I feel like it's a little bit edgy for what ABC usually does. I don't know. Don't you think? It's more like cable.
Exactly.
It's more like cable television reality TV versus network reality TV.
I completely agree.
Usually network reality TV, I feel like, is a little bit more tame than like a Bravo.
So it says Hulu announced that the first season of The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives would make its broadcast debut on ABC in January.
Oh, okay.
So it's just going to be the episodes that you could already watch on Hulu. I think it's just to expand it to a wider audience.
Okay. Well, they did say that the second season is going to air sooner
rather than later
than they thought in 2025.
Well, and I'm sure they're wanting to strike while the iron is hot.
So maybe we'll get it in the spring. I don't know. So
I hope so, because honestly, I hate to admit how much I liked it.
It was really interesting.
So shallow.
It was interesting. It was very interesting. And really, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it's just interesting to see how different people live as members of the church.
Exactly.
I know people will say it's not realistic, and maybe I don't have anybody like that in my ward, but I'm sure there are all kinds of people in other wards that are living differently.
Oh, yes. Yeah. We will get to that in the Patreon episode. Should I tease the Patreon episode right now? For those of you who are going to stick around for Patreon, Ariane and I are going to do a deep dive into the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City season 5 that is currently airing because we are halfway through the season, and she and I have both watched it and we haven't talked.
We haven't discussed yet.
So we're going to discuss that in the Patreon episode. Okay. Next reality TV star or reality TV news story.
Yeah.
Dancing with the Stars. There was a whole article this week entitled, "Why Are So Many Mormons on Dancing with the Stars? Breaking Down Utah's Ballroom Culture." And anybody who's watched Dancing with the Stars know, statistically speaking, we have had way more Mormons on there than we should have.
High numbers.
And Dancing Utah is just literally a thing. And they all come pretty much from the same studio, which is Studio C It's really kind of insane. So they interviewed a couple of the dancers, and they're like, well, what else are you going to do in Utah besides dance? We have a really unique culture down there. We don't party. We don't drink. We don't have coffee or alcohol. But we do dance, and there's no prohibitions about shaking what the good Lord gave you.
Yes.
Anyway, so they just explained that dance has always been a very cultural thing dating back to when the pioneers came across the plains. Everybody always danced. And what was really interesting is I happened to see this TikTok. So Lindsay Arnold, she was a pro on Dancing with the Stars. She did a TikTok, I don't know, probably a month and a half ago. It was a Get Ready With Me. And she just explained the role that the church plays in her life and how it's been a very positive influence for her and how she grew up that way. But what I really liked is she said, and just as much as I can see that the church has brought light and positivity to my life, I do understand it's not the case for everyone. So I appreciated that Lindsay acknowledged that. And it was kind of funny because she also addressed the secret lives of Mormon wives. And she said, never once have I felt like I was being raised to be a housewife for my husband and my children. And she talks about how supportive her parents were. So very interesting that Utah has this whole dance culture. And it's really true. If you go to New York and LA and they have learned that you have danced in Utah, whether it's at Center Stage or BYU or UVU or Weber State, because all three of those college programs just kill it in the nationals every year, they stand up and take note. They know that you have gotten good dance training. So that brings me to my second Dancing with the Stars story. Riley Arnold, who is the little sister of Lindsay Arnold. Lindsay now is married with 2 kids. And so she, at this stage in her life, is no longer appearing on Dancing with the Stars. She wants to focus on other things. But her little sister Riley is. This is Riley's second season on Dancing with the Stars. She's 19 years old. She is in the finals. She is dancing with none other than pommel horse champion Stephen Nordisek.
Oh, I didn't know that. I have them all recorded, but I haven't watched any of them yet this season.
And
I'm very behind.
They have absolutely been killing it. So the finals is next week. But here's why Riley made news. Riley's got herself a new boyfriend. So this is a high-profile Mormon romance. Yes, come to us for all the trash and tea. We love it. So
and he's a football player.
He is a football player. She started dating this guy by the name of Walker Lyons. Now, before you think he plays for BYU, and that's a whole nother story we could go into about BYU and their rankings, he actually plays for the University of Southern California. And he just seems to be a super nice guy. He graduated high school early. I should say he is a tight end for USC. He graduated high school early so that he could leave and go on his mission. He was probably only on a mission for about 18 months, and it was planned that way. He didn't do anything to cause him to come home early. But they released him in June of this last year so he could get back for football season because he'd already committed to USC. He's a California kid. Anyway, they had some mutual friends in common who kind of put them together. And there's this really cute article. Riley talks about all of the butterflies from dating, and they had been dating for a couple of months before they made it Instagram official.
So how old is he? He's got to be probably just 20.
I think he's 21.
Maybe 21.
21. Okay. So, around her same age. And they made it Instagram official by she put a post on her Instagram. And it was really funny because she said, what was it that she said when she posted? It was hilarious. She said, "Is this a hard launch?" I put question mark. And of course, she got a lot of press for that. And he's shown up with her, supporting her at Dancing with the Stars, gone on a double date with her and the pommel horse guy and his girlfriend. Anyway, he seems to be a pretty together kid. I think they make a really cute pair.
Well, that'll be fun to watch.
I'm just so excited to watch them because I think they're adorable.
That's cute.
And the other thing, too, is, he's a very talented football player. It would not be unheard of for him to go to the NFL. And, she obviously has paparazzi that's following her around. She's in the news. So I think to a certain extent, he can maybe understand the pressures of what she deals with. She can understand the pressures of what he deals with. She also talked about in the article, it's really hard for her to date guys her age because she's had a lot of life experience for 18, 19 that a lot of people haven't had. Yeah. And, anyway, so we are going to wish Walker and Riley the best.
Okay, well, who knows? Maybe in a while we'll be having another article about their engagement.
Okay. All right. You know what? We probably have time for 2 more stories. So let me do this one, and then you can do your last one, since we're getting a little tight on time. There was an article entitled 2,500 Participate in the Book of Mormon Experiment in Germany at the world's largest book fair. Have you ever heard of the Book of Mormon experiment?
I have not.
Let me tell you about the Book of Mormon experiment, because we recently did this in my ward. And
so this is a thing going
in September. No, it was in October we did it. Well, here's how they do it, and then here's how we modified it for our ward. So they go to places like this book fair. The church does. They have a whole traveling exhibit sort of a thing. And so they go to places where there are lots of people around who are generally not members of the church.
Okay.
They have it set up so you can get on the family search computers and do family search if you want. But they also invite people. They have pages from the Book of Mormon, and they say, would you read this page from the Book of Mormon? And anytime you see a reference to God or Christ or deity, will you take this red Sharpie and highlight that on the page? And then afterwards, they take a picture of them with their page. And without fail, every page of the Book of Mormon has some reference to God or Christ or deity. And then they ask these people who are not members of the church, what did you think about? What did you feel as you read this? And they put them into these really cute, lovely little feel-good videos.
Okay.
So we did a modified version of that for my ward. On a Sunday school Sunday, we had all of the adults and teenagers come into the cultural hall. We had a couple of people, a couple of adults and several youth speak about what the Book of Mormon means to them, what they've learned in studying the Book of Mormon this year. We watched one of the really feel-good videos, and then I gave them all a page from the Book of Mormon and a red marker, and they had to highlight it. And then I baked them cookies, but they couldn't get their cookie till they came up and got their picture taken.
Oh, okay.
Mama's no fool here. So they all got their picture taken, and we are currently putting it together in a video that we're going to show at our ward Christmas party.
Oh, that's really cute.
Yeah. So
that's a cute idea.
Anyway, the church has been doing this for 5 or 6 years. They've been going around, and you can just put into YouTube, put Book of Mormon experiments.
I had no idea. So they go to book fairs that are just generic book fairs.
Yes.
With all kinds of books.
It may not even be a book fair. It may be like any sort of fair or festival where there would be a lot of people that then they could expose to family search and potentially the Book of Mormon.
Okay.
So
that's kind of cool.
Anyway, at this book fair in Germany, 2,500 people took the challenge and read a page from the Book of Mormon and highlighted it in red.
Very cool. Okay.
All right.
Our last article, this is from the Daily Universe. There is a BYU student who competed and won on the Food Network Christmas Cookie Challenge.
I love this. I love the Christmas Cookie Challenge.
I know. I love those holiday baking shows. They're so fun to watch. So her name is Anya Fazulinov. I probably said that wrong. We're going to call her Anya.
We're going to call her Sister Anya because that's easier for us to pronounce.
So she won the prize of $10,000, and she is a freshman at BYU.
I know.
She's so young. So she, started baking like 5 years ago. She's been running her own cookie business for 5 years.
Yes.
So obviously she started this back at home when she was young. And
she does the sugar cookies that have the really intricate designs and stuff on them.
Like with the royal icing and the intricate designs.
I love the designs, but I've never tasted a cookie that had much flavor when they do that.
I know.
It's all about the design. And for me, I'm like, no, it's all about the flavor.
It's that royal icing. You just can't make it taste good.
Well, even if you could make the royal icing taste good, I've never tasted a cookie.
The cookie's always
harder. Is always harder.
It has to be like hard and
not very flavorful. Yeah. Anyway, so go on.
And she admits that. She says she focuses on the design, not on the flavor of her cookies. Which
then begs the question: is it the competition based on both the design and the flavor? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
I don't know, but when you're watching on TV, you care more about the design.
Well, that's probably
because you can't taste it at home.
It's probably true.
So her episode aired November 14th. If anybody would like to go back,
I'm going to have to go back and watch that.
She says that she just loves the art of it. She is truly an artist. I mean, all of these cookie people that do this are great artists. And so she said, great people do hard things. Exceptional people make those hard things look easy. That was a quote, a comment that she got on the show. So she Killed it, and we're very proud of her. Also, I would like to say I know a local cookie lady here in Boise.
I was so excited when you told me about this.
Yes, she's a friend of mine. She is also going to be on this show, and she is also a member of the church. So her local business is called Darling Cookie Co. Mm-hmm. I love her. I know her through the gym, and I also know her through our businesses have collided over the years. Our daughters have collided. We just always end up running into each other. She is darling. And I have bought a lot of her cookie kits and gone to her classes over the years. She is such an artist. Her cookies are amazing. And she will be on the show Monday night is when her episode airs. November 25th.
Are you doing a watch party?
Yes.
Oh,
I'm going to her watch party. So Darling Cookie Co. next Monday night, if anybody wants to see another member of the church on the show.
I love it.
So apparently we're really good at dancing and cooking.
Yes.
And
being influencers. TikToking.
We are just so talented as members of the church.
Just don't ask us to make alcoholic beverages. We're going to fail that one.
Unless you're a Real Housewife of Salt Lake City.
And half of the Mormon housewives. Half of the Secret Lives housewives.
Yes.
All right. Well, now we would, in theory, be moving on to the Mormons behaving badly segment. But I'm here to tell you, those Mormons, again, it's been several months since I've had a really good story.
You didn't have one 2 weeks ago.
I did not. And again, I've just done updates on people like Ammon Bundy because everybody wants to behave themselves.
This is good. We appreciate it.
We do appreciate it.
We appreciate the positive vibes.
I do. Although sometimes it is really fun to shame stupid people.
I know. When it's a funny one, it's good.
It's a funny one. Yeah. There's some ones that I don't like.
We don't like the dark ones.
And people are hurt.
Yes.
Again, I would much rather shame people who are being stupid.
Yes. Okay. So happy to report that. We will move on to favorite things.
Yes. Okay. So you start us off and tell me what your favorite thing is.
My favorite thing this month is a movie. It's not Wicked, although I'm sure I will be going to see that soon.
Oh, I already have my tickets.
Oh, I want to go next week. I haven't got tickets. I better get tickets. They're going to sell out. No, this movie is the best Christmas pageant ever.
Did you go see it?
I went and saw it with my kids.
I wanted to see it.
I loved it. Now, I have a lot of history with this movie and this book.
We both have a lot of history.
Okay, I wasn't sure if you got in on that or if that was after you left for college.
No, Mom made me do it as a humorous interp when I was in high school, my senior year. I had 2 different humorous interps my senior year, and that was one of them that I did. Oh,
because she used to read the book to us as little kids every year.
Oh, yeah.
And then there was a television special in the 80s, really cute, like half-hour special that we watched every year at Christmas. And I have it on DVD now. I hunted it down on the internet years ago.
Good for you.
And I show it to my children every year.
And they probably hate you.
So they have grown up, and I've read the book to my kids. So they have grown up very familiar with this story. So they were so excited to see the movie.
Did they love it?
They loved it. It was so sweet. Aww. I mean, it's a little cheesy, but
and the guy who directed it, Dallas Jenkins, does The Chosen.
Oh, is it The Chosen?
Yes,
I didn't know that. I knew whoever it was somewhere in that Christian film sphere. Not Mormon Christian sphere, but in the general genre Christian film sphere. But it was so darling. I thought they did a great job. I loved it. So
I'm gonna have to go see it.
Highly recommend. Okay, it's very sweet. The message is so good.
Okay, all right. Well, mine tonight, again, keeping along our silly, shallow theme that we have going on tonight. Have you ever, I know you've heard of these because I know you have a daughter that is obsessed with them. They're called mini brands.
Mini brands. They're a mystery ball.
They're a mystery ball. So you buy, I'm holding it up. If you are on, the microphone is now picking up the noise of what's shaking in my mystery ball. But if you're on the video, you go and you buy this ball, and they have all sorts of different genres. They had like food brands and appliance brands and sneaker brands.
Disney toys. And they're just little miniatures.
They're little miniatures. And so you pay anywhere between $8 and $10 for one of these balls, and you get 5 little miniatures.
Yes.
So they did a collab with my favorite beauty store, also known as Ulta.
I want to see what is in this ball. I did not know they did a collab with Ulta.
I teased it. I refused to show you until we came on.
She brought this ball, and I was like, what's in there? I bought
the ball. I purchased 2 of them. Both of my finds are in the ball.
Okay.
So let me just show you. I'm opening the ball here. This is the little thing that tells you all about them. Look. I got a little mini blow dryer.
Oh my goodness.
In fact, you open it up and there's even a little mini blow dryer in there.
There's actually a blow dryer in
There's
here?
actually a blow dryer in there.
Okay.
Oh, no, you got to open it. Your
other end.
Darling.
Okay. I'm going to wreck
here. I'm
going to wreck her toy. Okay.
I'm
going to dig through here.
From wrecking my
toy.
Oh
my gosh, it's so cute. There's a mini nail polish OPI. It looks just like, why are tiny things so cute?
I don't know.
Mini elf lip gloss. I have this lip gloss in the big size. It even unscrews.
Look, there's a little blow dryer in there. Or hairbrush thing.
Oh, cute.
Anyway, so I think what you should do is that you should get these for your teenage girls for stocking stuffers because they would freak out.
I just want one in my stocking.
Well, so do I.
A mini super goop.
A mini super goop.
A mini eyeshadow.
Let me show you what's on the thing that I want that I haven't gotten. So they have a whole bunch of e.l.f. products. I want even more of the e.l.f. products. They have, they've got all sorts of OPIs. They have Tarte. They have Tarte stuff. Katie got one of the little Tarte shaped tapes.
Cute. Okay.
No, Lauren got a Tarte shaped tape.
So how much are these at Ulta?
They are $9.99 at Ulta.
Okay.
And look, they even have a naked eyeshadow palette from Urban Decay.
Oh, cute.
These are just they are way too cute. They are just to die for. So yes, that is my favorite thing.
Okay, and they're like the perfect size, like if your daughter's into like the American Girl dolls.
I know, that's what my daughters were talking about. They were like, Mom, wouldn't this have been so fun to have when we played with American Girl dolls?
Because it looks like real product.
It does.
Versus when you go buy the doll stuff and it's just like a pink plastic bottle.
Yes,
so.
Exactly.
Okay,
exactly.
That's so fun.
So that's my favorite thing. And like I said, I've got, in fact, my daughter Lauren bought me a retro one for my birthday that she's bringing up for Thanksgiving that has all products from the 70s. Ooh. So I'm very excited to open the retro one.
Oh, I want to see
But she was like, yeah, I'm going to wait because I want you to open it when I'm there.
Oh, okay.
So, anyway, they have them in all sorts of different stuff, Target, Walmart, but the little cosmetic ones like this is an Ulta.
You have to go to Ulta to get it. Okay.
Ulta. Good to know.
All
right. Well, I think that wraps it up for our main show tonight. We are going to stick around to do Patreon, and we are going to digest Real Housewives of Salt Lake City.
Fun
stuff. So listeners, thank you very much for joining us tonight. You can find us, of course, on all the social media platforms, Facebook, Twin Sisters. I don't think anybody's running the X, but as always, you can contact us at contact@thisweekinmormons.com. We will respond to you, and we appreciate emails, feedbacks, the whole 9 yards. And as always, please, if you have a couple bucks to spare, become a Patreon subscriber. Help us just keep our equipment running. Thank you.
Thanks for listening.